Like and subscribe right now, or this will be in your bed tonight. Hello and welcome back to ProRevenge. Before we start, please scroll down and click like and subscribe. This means that you will get more videos from me. Please like and subscribe with notifications on, and it will really help me out. Thanks. How my cousin and I got a photographer locked up for revenge porn. So this all started about 3 years ago. My cousin who lives in Arizona always had a desire to have professional nude photos taken. She thought it'd be nice to have something for her husband to look at from when she was in her prime as they aged together. Also, I think it kinda turned her on. However, my cousin had no desire to have those photos publicly published. After a few years of chewing on this idea, she decided she was going to do it. She went out looking for a photographer. She had a tight budget and ended up going with this one man who quoted her $300 for a 1-hour photo shoot. He didn't mind taking nude pictures of her. However, she asked him if he had any agreement or something that would keep those photos confidential. He said he did not. She asked him if she wrote up an agreement basically stating the photos he takes of her cannot be saved on any of his devices and the SD card needs to be given to her and that she should be the only person with a copy of the photos, and if he'd agree to that, his only request was that she buy the SD card herself. So she agreed. He sent her what kind of SD card she should buy, and she bought it. She also wrote up an agreement in which the following was agreed upon and signed. Photo shoot was to last 1 hour. He would be paid $300. He would edit 6 pictures of her choosing, airbrushing / making her look better etc. He would also print those 6 photos. She would supply the SD card. He would also delete any photos of her from any device he has. The photos he takes of her after he's done should not be saved to any device he owns, and the only copy should be on the SD card when he gives her the SD card. He's not allowed to share those photos with anyone for any reason, and those photos belong to her only. Agreement was signed. Photo shoot happened. Photos were edited. She got her SD card. All things well and good. My cousin figured that was that. Obviously we all know this isn't the end, but just the start, otherwise I wouldn't be posting here. About 6 months after the photo shoot, the photographer contacts her and says he has copies of her photos and knows a website can he sell them to for $500, and if she doesn't want that she needs to pay him $500. My cousin calls me and asks me what I think she should do, as I'm pretty good at handling dynamic situations. I did some googling and come to find out this could be considered revenge porn, and that's illegal in the state of Arizona. In fact, it's a felony, which means jail time. Also, obviously this would be considered blackmail, which is also a felony. So I tell my cousin to do this. Don't pay him. If you pay him once, there is nothing stopping him from trying to get you to pay again. Remind him that you are both in the state of Arizona and that it's a felony to distribute revenge porn. Remind him that you had a signed agreement in which he agreed the photos he took of her he would not save a copy and he would never publish anywhere. Remind him if he publishes your photos, you will post him on blast throughout the social media world. She said thanks. I thought this was the end of that story. But about 6 months later, I'm on Reddit. On my porn Reddit account. I have a Reddit account I only use to subscribe to porn subreddits to keep my main account clear of porn. And I'm whacking off, and I'm in one of the subs when I click on a picture, and bam, my dick goes limp. I'm staring at my cousin in a very seductive pose. I knew she was my cousin cause you could see the tattoo of her son's name and birthday. It was a complicated feeling. At first I was annoyed that my whack of session was ruined by running across a picture of my cousin, and then it dawned on me the photographer didn't listen to her and must have published her photos anyway. So now things get more awkward, cause now I have to call my cousin and tell her how I found her nude photos as I was masturbating. Not a conversation anyone would like to have with a blood relative, but she had to know. So I called my cousin and informed her of what I saw. I sent her the links. I went to the local Facebook groups and left nasty reviews for him. My cousin didn't want her name out there saying nude photos have her existed, so people could go out and find them. I then googled how to DMCA and sent in DMCA notices to the sites I could find that were hosting her photos. I also did a reverse image search and DMCA those as well. I taught my cousin how to do this herself. FYI, DMCA works, and none of the sites even argued with us. At this point someone PMs me an attorney's number. They tell me this attorney was an advisor to the revenge porn law bill that Arizona passed and that we should call the attorney. So I did. I explained the story to the attorney. I left out the my whacking of bit as I didn't feel that was relevant. The attorney then explained to me, because I wasn't the victim he couldn't really do anything until the victim contacted him, herself. So I went to my cousin, told her about this attorney and how she should go speak to the attorney. Now my cousin has a flaw in her personality. She's very quick to forgive. I tried my best to persuade her, but she said she felt the nasty reviews we had left and spreading the news was enough. Another 6 months pass, and one day my cousin calls me again and says you wouldn't believe which son of a bitch emailed me, being the quick thinker I said the photographer, right? She said yup, and I said so how much money is he asking for now? She said he's asking for $10,000 to delete her photos and as compensation for the damages we caused to his business. Apparently people don't want to hire a photographer who publishes people's photographs that they paid him to take without their permission. I told it was time to call the attorney. She agreed. Let's skip ahead a year. Apparently said photographer had plenty of money to fight a legal battle. Long end of the story, my cousin got him convicted for blackmail and revenge porn plus successfully sued him and got a civil judgment for a hefty sum of money. He's currently serving 3 years in an Arizona state prison. Granted, after she got her civil judgment he had basically sold everything he had trying to stay out of jail, so it's unlikely she will ever be able to collect, but basically his future earnings now belong to her as I understand it. The case of the missing firewood. This may be pushing rule 6 a little, but this happened when my grandfather was growing up in rural Kansas in the 40s and 50s and is one of my favorite stories from him. Story: when my grandpa was growing up he didn't have electricity, this being rural Kansas. What they did have was a wood burning stove. At one point firewood that great grandfather had been storing began to disappear, or thief was afoot. My great grandfather, getting tired of the firewood disappearing, hatches a plan. Great grandfather takes some of the logs and drills them out, leaving a cavity. He then puts some gunpowder in the cavities and plugs the holes to hide his handiwork. That night he tells my grandpa that he will bring in the firewood. Of course he knows what logs he's messed with. Now this is the funny part, and I wish I knew how embellished it was, but stranger things have happened. The next day great grandfather is walking into town and comes across a gentleman also headed into town, and they get to talking. It turns out the gentleman is going into town to make a purchase, the item he seeks, a new stove. He says to my great grandfather, I don't know what they are putting in the coal these days, but it destroyed my stove. No wood ever went missing again. Short but sweet. Steal from his blind aunt. I'll make sure you don't see the revenge coming. This was 2013. I know it's been a while, but I just discovered Reddit posting, so here it goes. My husband at the time was my boyfriend. He had a blind aunt named B. She had a very bright outlook on life and was trusting, but cross her and she would snap. B was very wealthy from her own merits. She earned a huge amount of money in her 76 years. Anyways, every week we would take Auntie B to lunch once or twice a week. I would learn about how she sees the world and ask her questions about how she does certain things, and she would always gladly answer. Well, B had a best friend who was a nurse and B got sick from her diabetes. She went into hospice care. Hope I spelled it right. B appointed her friend as her nurse to live with her, and it seemed well till her credit cards would overdraft, or she got random calls from creditors, or the time she had no food but had a fridge full of Pepsi when B never drank anything but water. I was suspicious, but I was an outsider, so I didn't say anything at first till one day we brought Auntie B lunch. It was a tuna sandwich cut in half for her already with some fries, her favorite from her favorite place. At this point she had 2 weeks left to live. I offered to cut the sandwich more so she could eat it in fourths, but a nurse took it to the kitchen instead. She brings it back out on a plate not cut, but it's only one half of the sandwich and it has a huge bite out of it. I tell my, at the time, boyfriend her sandwich has been bitten into, and he goes no fucking way, but when he looked B was already eating it. So I get up, take her sandwich, and go to the kitchen to question the nurse, see her eating the rest of B's food. So I get mad and question her, and she claims she thought it was for her. We previously offered to buy her some food and she refused. She gets mad and throws the sandwich on the floor and walks out. When she says I need to get B more tuna for her lunch tomorrow bye. We tell my mother-in-law, who is a lawyer, and she checks B's bank accounts to find this nurse stole 45k from her bank to furnish a new apartment she got and bought new clothes and shit. So we call the cops and she gives back the credit card but proceeds to claim she did it cause B told her she could, to which B comes out the house to say, bitch, I'm blind, I couldn't see you robbing me, but the kid said you ate my sandwich too like a ducking monster, so I'm taking you off my will and you're fired as my nurse and friend. B pressed charges and the nurse lady went to jail. She still has to pay back the money to the inheritance holders, my husband and his brother. Moral: don't steal from the blind and don't eat their food in front of people who can clearly see you do it. Thank you all for watching to the end of the video, but before you go, please like and subscribe for more. Not many of you all that watch are subscribed or like the video, and this makes me unsure if I should continue to make more content or not. So if you want more content, please like and subscribe. If you don't want to miss out on any future videos, click the bell icon next to the subscribe button. Also, please give me some feedback in the comment section about what I can do better, because not many people comment on my videos, so I have no idea of people's opinions of thoughts about this YouTube channel. So yeah, that's all from me. If you have subscribed and liked the video, please consider sharing the video with your friends. Thanks and bye. I'm still doing daily uploads, so hope to see you in tomorrow's video. Bye.